Hi everyone, welcome back to Parts Cannon Garage. This is episode 2 of the outboard motor experiment. But I wanted to share something with you before we get started, something kind of stupid. My shop TV here. I have a love-hate relationship with this thing. It was a decent TV. But the most recent time it performed a software update, I swear it took 6 weeks to run this update. Like the actual progress bar was moving. I would check on it once in a while and it kept moving. And it finished. So I had no TV for a couple months and now it is finished. And I just think it's amazing because it's a dumb story, but Vizio at some point decided to tie this TV to Yahoo. And I just think that that is hilarious. And after the update, this thing actually has new Yahoo graphics. But what's interesting is, like, somebody forgot to tell Vizio, or Vizio and Yahoo don't even talk, but all the graphics now are for like a mobile device, obviously. You'll see it's just the size of a phone. They actually work though. I'm shocked that these Yahoo apps on this Vizio TV, after 6 weeks of updating, are actually new and some sort of mobile platform. So anyway, enough of my dumb stories. Okay, just a quick Yahoo Finance update. Looks like Verizon, Apple, and Intel is who they're tracking in the NASDAQ. Looks like the NASDAQ was up 226 today. Awesome, thanks Yahoo. All right, over to the old whiteboard, where we are going to start part 2. What am I doing? We can do better than this. Stay tuned. Weird stuff. But one of the things I have over here is this Roland Cam 1 servo, which is one of my favorite toys. This is a vinyl cutter slash plotter slash whatever you want. So let's turn this thing on. I have it loaded up with some black vinyl. So let's let it boot up. And what we're going to do is make essentially a sticker for the whiteboard. So it's checking out to see what size vinyl is in there. Good. All right, we'll head over to the MacBook where I've already typed in Parts Cannon Garage. And we're going to cut it. This is just a piece of software called Easy Cut Studio. Just like something like a Microsoft Paint or something, but it communicates well with plotters. Turns everything into, it's called a vector graphic. And let's see. Let's hit cut and see what happens. If you guys are interested in this, I can certainly do a whole tutorial. Woo! All right. Okay, I'm going to start where we left off yesterday and just fill this thing up, and then we will work on the whiteboard. the full tour of the Dirty Dozen, I call them. We'll give each one of these a nickname as well. So change this lighting up and take a little tour. Okay, let's start down here. Okay, the first one, this might be my favorite. This one looks really, really nice. The Sea King by Chrysler 15. Also by Montgomery Ward somehow. So we'll fill that in a second. Next we have an Evinrude Sportwin. This thing has seen better days. Next we have a, what does that say? 9.8 horsepower Mercury twin. This one looks really cool. I like the looks of it. Next we have much more modern Mercury. This is the long shaft I talked about in the last video. You can see how much longer it is than the other ones. Okay, next we have another one of these monsters here. This is an Evinrude Fisherman. That's a beauty. It has a lot of black mold on it, but I think this one's gonna clean up really nice. Underneath it looks good. Okay, this next one is pretty awesome. I love this one. We'll get that cover on right. It looks pretty cool. So this is called the Fishing Scott, built by McCullough, 7.5 horsepower. I like the checkered flag logo. Reminiscent of the original Corvette logo a little bit. Okay, next we have something. This thing is very cool looking. I don't really see any markings on it yet. Oh, I do see a logo or a tag. Okay, we'll have to dig into that one a little bit. Okay, next. This one looks really cool too. This one is called the Buccaneer. Cool grid pattern on the side with some sort of cool looking logo. What is that? This thing out of the way a little bit. I can't quite tell what that is, but it looks neat. Oh, it's a Buccaneer head. Okay. Oh, look at that. That is pretty wild. I like this one a lot. And the shifter looks cool. Okay. Next we have, looks like a very modern Tohatsu. 5 horsepower. Next we have an extremely modern Honda 2.3. And someone put a comment in the last video, and I should have looked as I was going through, but I know this Honda is air-cooled. It's one thing that makes these really cool. You don't need a water tank or anything to run them. Okay, next. I don't know, each one of these I think is my favorite. And this one's called the Evinrude Fleetwin. And the logo is awesome. You look at like a modern motor, pretty boring. You look at these and they're just really neat looking. Other side of the Fleetwin, you can see stamped there, neutral, forward, reverse. Pretty cool logo. Okay, that one says Evinrude Fleetwin 7.5. Okay, and then the next one, or final one, is this little guy. Maybe this is air-cooled, I'm not sure. This thing is pretty cool. The Evinrude Mate. I like this one. Oh, what is this? This is a 2 horsepower. Oh, it has a nice little panel. Okay, so here we are. I did get a bunch of accoutrements with all this junk, as you might call it. So let's lay that out. When you buy a bunch of outboards, you also might get some random stuff. So I got 3 fuel tanks. I got 1 extra fuel line. I got this, what looks like a homemade outboard stand. Another one, which is like a bunch of wood outboard stand. And then this one I thought was really cool, the guy had in his basement, and he would not give it to me, so he sold it to me, I think, for 20 bucks. Then I went back on Craigslist because I knew I needed a barrel. Thank you to whoever commented on that. And believe it or not, there's a guy like a mile away from my house that sells these food grade whatever barrels, and these things are pretty beefy and they have a lid on them. So hopefully that's going to be my barrel. And then this outboard stand is one that I got with the actual, I have another 6-horse outboard that I actually use, and this stand came with that, or I bought it or something. So I'm hoping that this stand and this barrel will somehow go together to form a perfect test platform. We shall see. Okay, we have successfully captured as much information as I could at first glance. There is clearly a lot of research to do to fill in some of these blanks, which I will start doing right away. Let me grab the camera and bring you a little closer, see what's going on. Okay, so number 1 was the McCullough Fishing Scott. I paid $25 for that one in a bulk deal with number 7, which we'll get to. So I'm giving them all nicknames so I know what to call them. This one I'm calling Scotty, obviously. I like Star Trek, and it's called the Fishing Scott. All right, number 2, to remind you, there's gonna be a lot of scrolling, and this is the Fishing Scott, $25. Okay, next is the Evinrude Fisherman, which I was told was basically brand new or hadn't been used in 30 years or something. And it does look it, especially on the inside. So that one is called Moldy Magoo. I paid $250 for that. It was stored in like a heated basement, and that's an Evinrude Fisherman. Number 3 was $300. That's the Mercury long shaft. I think it's maybe like a 2000 or something. It's newer. I'm just calling that shaft. That one's pretty boring. This next one, number 4, I've named Black Magic. That's the Mercury Twin 9.8. That was $150, but I just love that one. Looks so cool. Okay, the next one I'm calling Crusty Crab. That was $40. That was the Evinrude Sportwin. That's that one there. Definitely needs some love. And the next one I'm calling Creamsicle. That was very expensive, $370. It was supposedly only used for a few years back in the 70s or something. And I just love that one. It's kind of an off-white and an orange and a brown. It's strange, but this is also a 15 horse, so if this one runs, I'm gonna be pretty excited. Okay, so next we have probably the oldest one. I'm calling it CylonFace. It was $25. I got both CylonFace and Scotty for a $50 bundle. I found a tag on it just now. It says Scott-Atwater 480. That's all I know. And to remind you, it's this one that looks a lot like a CylonFace. All right, the next one is the Buccaneer right there. I paid $100 for that one. I'm calling it the Brown Bomber. The next one is the Tohatsu. The most boring one I'm calling Brick because it's a square, and Tohatsu put zero effort into the aesthetics on this. It is what it is. So the Brown Bomber was $100. Brick was $200, but again, it's a newer one. Let's see. The next one, the most expensive of all of them, and also the second smallest, I'm calling slick, and that's the Honda 2.3 air-cooled Honda. It's relatively new, like a 2010 or something. So that's that. The next one I am calling Mr. Gorgeous. That's the Evinrude Fleetwin 7.5. And to remind you of what that one is, that's this one right here, which I think is really going to clean up well. And I just can't say enough about this, these graphics on the side and the embellishments and whatnot. So anyway, that's that one. And then the last one I'm just calling Mini-Me, because it kind of looks like the big Evinrudes, but it's tiny. And that's the Evinrude Mate 2.0. And I paid $130 for that. I just couldn't resist it. I just thought it was cool. I love the onboard little gas tank on the back. And that's that. So I'm going to be doing some research offline, and stay tuned for next time when we dig into the McCullough fishing Scott and we start cracking that thing open. There it is. So next time we'll see this cover off. And the first thing I'm going to do for any of these is I'm going to clean them, just because I don't really like working on filthy objects. So I'm going to clean it up just quickly, just to get the heavy stuff off. Clean the, as much as I can in and out. And then we'll go through and we're going to do, we're going to check for spark. We're going to do a compression test. We'll take a look at the fuel system and whatever we find. So fishing Scott is next. See you soon.